So first of all, everything is
Right, that's why you already got it.
I guess I need to unmute myself first. So, hey y'all, hey. Let's start that over. All right, Jew, what you got for us tonight?
I introduced it last week. Well, you can
Because
introduce
it's
it.
your
Yeah, can you
podcast.
just introduce it, please? Thank you. You always saying it's my podcast, but we all pains. We both pains.
But it is your really. So tonight we're going to talk about gender roles, a topic that somebody gave us last week. And I thought it was a pretty good topic actually because I guess every marriage is different. Every relationship is different. I mean, we can speak from the standpoint of marriage because, we're about to be married 13 years. So why not? But every marriage is different. Every relationship is different. What works in your house may not work in somebody else's house. So we're going to basically talk about what is the roles in your house when it comes to gender roles, and what does that look like for you all. So I don't know. What is our makeup?
Um, I don't know if we have one. I mean, I guess I would say it's probably fluid. I guess because it just changed. Um, like there's no, hey, this is the man's job. Hey, this is the
I
woman's
guess every
job.
marriage is different. My bad.
Hey, this is the man's job. You just turn your volume down.
I mean, I was. I mean, just not mess with it.
No, that's probably best. As I
What
was
was you saying?
stating, in our house is pretty fluid, probably. So it just depends on the day, really. There's no specifically defined like, hey, this is man's work.
You know,
This
you
is
gotta
woman's
speak
work.
up.
Oh, they heard me.
So, I mean, I've always thought ours was a little different.
Meaning,
I mean, you do the grocery shopping, you do the majority of the cooking, you wash the clothes. I mean, I wash clothes and cook, but I don't grocery shop. That is, no, mm-mm, no. I
what?
mean, do you arrange our cabinets?
Oh, here we go with this.
Because I think that goes to the point of when we're talking about gender roles. Like, mostly, I think women, like, it's probably OCD, but mostly women do that.
But is that a gender role though? Like, is that something that people, I guess, look at as like women's work? You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
Like it is.
I think so. Or, like, dude, you have it like color coordinated in alphabetical order.
You hating right now.
I'm not. That's like a real thing in our house. So, but I think that's like a gender role. Like, I think women do that
So you think people get
in a
married?
house.
So you think more households have like women grocery shopping?
Yes, I really do. I think mostly women do the grocery shopping. Like, how many people you know? I mean, okay, you arrange cabinets. Like, I feel like that's stuff that women would do is arrange their cabinets. I do. Like, it's all set up nice. Like, everything has a place.
It do. That's it, but that's anybody though.
I don't think that's anybody. I think that's Jew Payne.
So okay, so do you think? I mean, because I don't recall that we did, but do you think that um like I say we didn't discuss gender roles or roles coming into a marriage. You know what I'm saying? Like we didn't discuss that. Do you remember that conversation?
No.
No, we didn't have that conversation. So like how do we get to where we are then? You know what I'm
I don't know
saying?
what you
Like
mean.
how do we get to where I'm grocery shopping and I'm doing all the things that you say were womanly things?
I'm I'm not, I don't think they're womanly things. I'm just saying most of the time women do that type of stuff. It just happens to be different in our household.
Oh, all right.
But I mean, I don't want to do it. So I think that's how we got to it is I don't want to. I mean, I like to cook, but I don't want to cook every single night.
Mm-hmm.
Like some people cook every night. I don't want to do all that. Like, I mean, I create in the kitchen. Jew cooks in the kitchens. That's like a totally different thing. Like, I mean, I come up with amazing pasta dishes and you cook spaghetti. You know that it's like that's different. So I don't want to have to put together like, we had mashed potatoes and green beans, with chicken patties for I don't want to do that. Like I want to like put some thought and go buy ingredients that come up with this amazing, new thing. Like I like to season stuff. Like I'm the seasoner. Like I season meat better than him, even though he'll barbecue the meat. Like those are my, strong suits in the kitchen, like creating things, coming up with special dips and different things that me and the kids can try. But I don't want to cook. I mean, it's kind of the same in my head, or kind of not, I guess.
So, do you think it's important for people to talk about the roles in a relationship before they get married?
I mean, okay, so because that can be a thing, I would, I guess so, because like if me and you had got married and you had the expectation that I was doing all the laundry, like we would be divorced right now because I don't do laundry either. I mean, I do laundry, but I don't do laundry like that. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I think, I guess it goes as far as when you're talking about expectations in marriage. Like, is it the expectation that just because I'm the woman, I got to clean the kitchen and cook and, do all of those womanly roles that people say just because I'm a woman? Like, if you get married and it just depends on how you raise. Like, in my first marriage, that was the thought process. The thought process was I don't work. I stay home, and have babies and, cook and do all of those things. Like that was his expectation of marriage. I did not agree. Like I worked. I did, So I mean, I guess it.
And y'all talked about that before?
No, we didn't. We never talked about that. But I also felt like I went to school for all these doggone years. Why do you think I'm not going to work and put, my education to use? Like, I felt like that should have been something that he knew, but he didn't. And his expectation was totally different as far as what he thought I was supposed to be doing. So, I mean, I think it's worth having that discussion when you're when you in marriage counseling.
So I mean, but do you think like okay, because if we're being completely honest, before most people before they get married spend a whole lot of time together. Would you say?
Yeah.
So you don't think that some of those gender roles and stuff, or some of the thoughts on gender roles comes out in that time you spend? To where okay, we don't necessarily have to have that conversation specifically. Or do you think is okay, while we dating or we going up to that point or we engaged, I'm just sending my representative and then it's gonna change when we get married?
I mean, I don't know how to answer that. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, because I'm thinking in my head, like, I don't know. Like, me and you always been. I guess I only got me and you to go by because when I was dating my ex, I was the same. I didn't change once we got married as far as wanting to work and do all of those things that I always did. That didn't change for me. Like I still worked. I still did all the same things that I had the expectation that I was going to do in marriage. Like that didn't change for me. So, I mean, I agree that during the dating phase, I mean, when you get married, unless you just a class A manipulator, some type of authenticity has been shown. Like, did you know I didn't grocery shop and do laundry?
No.
What does that mean?
Means I didn't know that it was like never.
Wait. Is that bad?
Huh? It's
You're a
rare.
hater.
It's
You're a hater,
rare.
actually. 'Cause
How am
I
I
feel
a
like
hater?
you're
Like,
being a hater right
how am
now.
I a hater? We having a conversation. I'm just saying.
Yeah, but it's the way you saying it. Like never. Like
I mean, you do sometimes, but like, I mean, you like. When's the last time you did like the big grocery shopping?
I mean, probably the other day.
The other day, like what years?
Hey, you don't feel like you hating right now?
No, I just asked the question.
I mean,
I'm saying like grocery shopping, grocery shopping.
Jude, when is the last time either one of us did like a grocery shopping like that?
I mean, whenever it was me.
I mean, okay, whatever. No, she got some questions or something.
I just asked the question.
Oh, what
Do you
was
think
it?
it's important to have that discussion? So okay, so we talking about gender roles. All right, so what about like we talk about the shopping and all that different stuff and the I don't want to say menial things, but like cutting grass and all that stuff. But like gender roles just in like head of the household, disciplinarian, different stuff like that. Like are there gender roles in that? And do you think it's important to talk about those things?
So, I think there's certain things when it comes to, because when you think about it, if we're talking about the man ahead of the household, the disciplinarian, that just goes in general to the conversation that you're likely going to have in marriage counseling when you talk about having kids. When you're talking about having kids. So, I think that's a part of it. Like you talk about, do you whoop kids? I think that's
But I
part of
mean,
marriage
I don't
counseling.
even. I mean, I'm not even necessarily talking about like, do you whoop kids? Because that's not necessarily the gender role I'm talking about. Like,
But you said
some I know, but
disciplinarian.
I'm saying like, okay, but just saying, okay, do you whoop kids and saying your role as the man of the house is disciplinarian is different. You know what I'm saying? Because we can
Mhm.
both say, yeah, we whoop kids, but I can be like, I'm the disciplinarian. Like I can be like, that's me, or you could be like, that ain't you, or that's you. You know what I'm saying? So like the gender role in itself isn't, hey, do you whoop kids? It's if people get married and they feel like, look, as the man of the household, it's my job to discipline these kids. You know what I'm saying? Those type of conversations.
I mean, I don't know. I that one I like. I don't know because I still kind of feel like that's gonna end up being part of your marriage counseling.
Hmm.
Like I think that falls into we went to marriage counseling and we talked about how we discipline kids, or I think that's part of that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I can't necessarily say that's a gender role there because I think both parents should have some part in
Mm-hmm.
disciplining the
Right, right,
kids.
right. But
But
somebody might feel like, as the man or whatever the case, or as the woman, I got last say so. I got the final
okay,
say so.
so when you home with the kids, do you ever tell them, "Oh, when your mom get here, I'm telling"?
Ain't no reason to say that.
That's my point. I do that. Like, "Ooh, as soon as your dad get here."
So you pigeonhole me into the disciplinarian.
Yeah.
So that's a gender role that belief that you have.
I don't think I'm thinking of it in terms of gender role. I'm thinking of it in terms of my kids know me, they know you. So they respond to me saying, if you don't cut it out, I'm telling your dad.
Wow.
But I think whoever has put that fear into the kids when it comes to them cutting up, like the opposite parent can use that. Like, if you don't straighten up, I'm telling as soon as your dad get home.
So when that's said, or when that's how it's viewed, is does that mean that other parent, like yourself, never disciplines those kids?
No,
Or do it just mean, all right, you ain't flying right now, you tripping, so
now
I'm
you
about to bring
tripping.
out the big guns and
Yes.
tell you when your daddy get home,
Yep.
and then the kids just,
They snap to it. Even Kendall, like, have you ever noticed, like, even Kendall do that?
oh my goodness.
No, don't tell daddy.
That's your daughter.
But I mean, I it worked. So you do what you got to
You
do.
do what you got to do.
Hmm.
All right. So it is. So it is an important conversation to have because I mean, gender roles. Um, I don't know if transcend is the right word, but it goes across a lot of different spectrums, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? Like normally when people think about gender roles, I think they think of I ain't cutting that grass. That's a man's job.
Oh
You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah.
Like stuff, or like you said, like housework, doing the dishes, grocery shopping, laundry, stuff like that. People think of gender roles like that because I mean, most people feel like, well, a lot of people, I won't say most because I don't know, but a lot of people feel like, okay, the man go to work, make the money, make, you know what I'm saying, make the money.
I mean, you know what? I honestly think it kind of depends because most households nowadays are, especially if they're a husband and a wife or man and a woman household, typically both of them work.
Right.
You know,
Right.
now don't get me wrong. If we were in a position where I did not have to work,
Yeah. Would you be doing the grocery shopping and stuff then?
oh, that would be part of it.
What do you mean? Yeah.
I mean, I'll just be working. That way we
Oh
can
my.
share the responsibility of doing
So
that.
wait. So wait. So if you wasn't working, you wouldn't be doing nothing else.
I mean, I still don't want to grocery shop.
Oh my God. What
I
about
don't
cooking?
like. I cook.
Would you go? Okay. Would you go in the kitchen and create every day?
No, I mean it will be some days. I mean, because if we had that type of money, we would have a maid or something.
No, we wouldn't.
Why not?
Because these kids need to do stuff.
I mean, they can still have like chores and stuff like that, but
A maid. We don't need no
listen, when
maid.
I was washing these walls, so me and you been like thoroughly deep cleaning our house,
You telling our business about these walls.
and I was washing walls, and the whole time I'm washing these walls, I had attitude like, okay, we got to hire a maid to wash these walls.
We ain't hiring no maid.
You know how much work that was?
Yeah, a lot. We still ain't hiring no maid.
But so I mean, you know,
Builds character.
for who? We was the grown people doing
I
it.
know.
What the kids didn't help.
No, that's why you wait till they out of school. They can help.
I suppose.
All right. Okay. So we already talked a little bit about it, but just being specific, you personally, are there things that you believe are women's or men's work?
So there are certain things that I don't want to do because I believe a man would do it better.
No, that ain't the question. That ain't the question.
I mean, I okay, so yeah, maybe because I don't want to take out the trash and I don't want to cut the grass.
Okay, so you believe in gender
yeah.
roles.
Yeah, I suppose so because I think a man should do that. I mean, I will. Like, I have been single before where I had to do all of those
But you
things.
was the whole time thinking like, when I get a dude.
No, I mean,
he
I
doing
wasn't.
this.
I wasn't thinking that. I just it had to be done, so it got done.
No, but that's what I'm saying. While you doing it, you thinking like,
No, I didn't think that.
you wasn't thinking this is a guy's.
No, not when I'm in the position of having to
Oh, I know
perform
you'll
that.
do it. I mean, you're not
No,
gonna
that's
sit
what-
here with
that's not what I
trash
mean.
building up.
When I'm in the position of doing it, I'm not sitting here thinking like this is a man's job. Why do I have to do? I didn't think that.
Yeah, I know, because you have no choice but to do it at that point. But I'm saying, like, if we both sitting here and the trash need to go out, you ain't gonna move.
That ain't what you asked.
Okay.
It's not. But no, if we're both sitting here and it's trash I need to know, I'm gonna call you or Julian.
Call Julian. Don't call me. That's a son's work. That's a boy's work. Yeah. So you think there are okay? So what other things do you think are men's work?
Oh, I guess I scooted ahead.
Yeah, you did. You was ready.
My bad.
It's fine.
Car work. Figuring out what's wrong with the cars.
Figuring out what's wrong with the cars.
Yeah. I mean, can you call the garage? Can you tell them what's going on? I think that's a man's job.
All right. Why?
Because most mechanics are men, And a woman calling, like I can call and they're going to quote me $1,000. You call, they might quote you 500.
Maybe.
No, that's not a maybe. That's very, very true.
That's a maybe.
That's not a maybe. That's how they do
can't-
because
that's
they
a
assume.
maybe.
Now, granted, I would say I have more of a healthier understanding of common car issues, but it's still they charge you more when you're a woman, and you know that's an actual real thing. They don't think women know what they talking about when it comes to cars. I'm serious. But I also think, but that's why I always say, can you call? But you be like, can you call this place? And I be thinking like, why ain't he calling? This is about the car.
Anything else?
I mean, honestly, I think you should be more gadgety than me.
Wait. What?
I mean, that's how my head think. Like, you know,
So men should be gadgety?
I guess when I say gadgety, I be thinking like, okay, figure out where all these cords go in the TV.
What do you mean, where do they go?
I be feeling like a man should do that.
What do you mean, like hooking up the cable and whatnot?
Yeah, all those type of things.
Well, I mean, we got people that can hook up the cable.
I'm just saying, like, if we move, or I always rearrange stuff, and I got to take the cords out.
Yeah, I mean, that's because you be like doing like home and garden moving and stuff.
But my thought process is like that stuff. Like when I get to moving stuff around and rearranging stuff, it's heavy. To me, a man should be in here moving this stuff around for me. I mean, I'll do it, but you asked the question, so I'm just saying, like when I'm moving stuff around, I'll be like, "All right, G, where you at?
Work?
You're a hater."
Work?
I work though.
I mean, how many times I came home and it's just been rearranged? Almost every time.
I don't need what? No.
Almost.
You're saying almost every time.
Almost every time it's rearranged. I done came back from work or somewhere and it's rearranged.
It's not like I do that a lot.
No, not at all.
I don't know. When's the last time I rearranged something?
I don't know. I don't even know why we having this discussion.
Because
now it means within the next 3 weeks you're gonna rearrange something.
No, it don't, because it's been over a year since I rearranged anything.
I know, that's exactly why you're gonna be like, it's been too long.
Oh, see, look right there.
What? What is that for?
Probably had something to do with what we were talking
Called
about.
saved investments.
You got to look it up. You just look it up.
Look it up.
But no, so like that's where my head takes me when it comes to gender roles. Now, I don't necessarily think it's fair per se that I think that way, but at the same time, I be thinking like this is something that you supposed to be doing.
Moving the stuff?
Yeah, or the day we had to spackle the wall back up.
Huh?
Remember the day that we had to use the spackle stuff? Ain't that what it's called?
Yeah, I thought I was doing that.
The point being,
oh,
you were doing it.
Oh, you feel like that's man's work?
Yes.
Oh, right.
I mean, but I guarantee you, everybody thinks that, even if that's not how their household is lined up. Everybody thinks that.
Men should not take out the trash.
Why do you do that?
Oh, what? You showed it, or you mean skip?
Yeah, you be skipping.
Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to skip. Sorry, Miss Poole. Y'all funny. Anybody can do anything in the house. That's what I think too.
I mean, I agree. I do.
With some stuff, you just feel like
a man
I should be doing.
Yeah, I'm not saying I won't do those things, but I just think certain stuff you should be doing.
I think like Yolanda think like.
So you don't think it's certain stuff just a woman should be doing? You thinking too hard.
No, because I'm trying to make sure that I'm like going through the Rolodex. Like, I mean, not
you're thinking too hard.
What does that even mean?
Because you said if I don't work, shouldn't I be cooking or creating in the kitchen?
I'm saying like if you ain't working, you ain't gonna do something. That's all I'm saying. I wasn't saying that was like a gender role.
The way you just said that means you think it's a gender role.
No, it doesn't. It means like if you ain't working, like can't you do something? That way I ain't gotta come home from work and do it. It ain't about gender role, it's because you ain't working. You chilling.
Wait, so it's a real thing. Just because a woman stays home don't mean she's chilling.
All right.
I'm saying like it's kids to take care of.
Okay, I know. Okay,
this is
if the
perfect.
kid, okay, if you a stay at home mom, I'm not saying you don't do anything. What I'm saying is like, okay, if you a stay at home mom and the kids are like all of your kids are in school, like there's stuff around the house that could be done. Like if you're not running errands or if you're not, I don't know.
Who should fill out the kids' school paperwork?
I mean, whoever got pens, whoever got a pen. Why?
Who should fill out the kids' doctor's paperwork?
What do you mean? Whoever take them to the doctor?
No, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
No.
Wait, no, because I've taken them to plenty of appointments where I've had to fill out paperwork.
And who are you calling the whole entire time? Tia, what's this? What is this? Can you?
Because I asked a couple questions. You act like I mail you the forms like they said fill these out.
You have done that.
No, I haven't.
What?
I've never in my life mailed you some forms and been like, the doctor said fill these out.
You got to point out
the school said fill these out. It was yesterday. No, it was yesterday. But that's because I was helping Kendall and I was like, can you fill that out? And it was a paper that because you usually do the picking up, I had to make sure that you was okay with her going to that program after school. Booyah!
Absolutely not, dude.
Absolutely correct.
No,
and you know it.
No, because we got 60,000 kids.
And because I filled out the last few bushels of paperwork.
No, and how many years, Jude?
I'll have. How long they been in school?
No, you is tripping. No, you just filled out paperwork. Well, we're gonna.
Oh, there you go. There we go. Here we go. I gotta call the boss.
But I be thinking the reason you do that is because you feel like it's my responsibility to fill out these papers.
No, I be doing that because I don't know some of the information.
No, I don't mean that. Not the calling, not necessarily.
Oh, you mean like you filling out papers?
Yeah.
Oh, nah, that'd be more like, man, that's a lot of writing.
How many?
We do a lot of 2 in the house now. We got 6 overall, but 2 in the house now. But I'm just saying, some of them, hey, schools, listen, I'm going to just be real with y'all. Some of the paperwork is repetitive. Ease up.
Can you imagine when we take the kids to the dentist when it was all 4 of them?
Man.
The same exact.
Same paper. Same paper.
I had a question. I forgot.
What is it?
I forgot.
Oh, you forgot.
Yeah, I forgot.
I had to call the boss. Oh, my goodness. It's all good. You had the information. And then you real good at remembering that different stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like I'll be having to look up like who they doctor is.
You know what I do?
What?
When you call and ask me that?
Put it in your phone?
No, I look up who their doctor is.
Oh, see, I thought you just off the top of your head.
No. Okay, so this is my next question then. What about when you're going grocery shopping? I gotta come up with the list.
You don't always come up with the list.
You was quick on that one, wasn't you?
Yeah, because you don't. There's plenty of times I done wrote out a full list and be at the grocery store with my list and my pen, marking off stuff, adding stuff that I ain't have on the list, buying extra stuff. Yeah, don't do that. Don't do that. Because you don't always do the list.
So maybe it could be you have control issues.
Because I write a list?
No. You write, okay, yes. You write the list. You do the grocery shopping. Then you got to come home and rearrange our cabinets and color coordinate.
I got to put stuff where it belongs.
And alphabetize.
No, I just put it where it belongs. Like it's grouping. It's not control. It's just everything has a place.
That's what you call it?
Yeah, because it does. Why would I put chips in this cabinet and chips in that cabinet?
No, we're not talking about chips, Jude.
Then what are we talking about?
We're talking about the color coordination.
I don't color coordinate anything.
It's like he be color coordinating.
No, I group things. Vegetables go with vegetables.
So yes, what other questions you got?
I got
'Cause,
one more. It was just one more question. I don't know.
oh, we doing good. It's 9:30. We getting off early tonight. Oh, is this the one? Yeah. Can a man be the head of the household if he is not entrenched in societal roles of a man? Like, well, you got to answer that one. It's a parenting moment right now. What's on your face?
Get it off.
All right, go.
All right. So what's the question? Can a man? This I want your perspective too.
I mean, but you go first.
Can a man be the head of a household if he is not entrenched in societal roles of a man? So basically, like our household, basically. I think so, but I think that it takes um it takes a certain kind of certain strength, a certain respect level um from both parties, in my opinion. Um and it takes the ability to ignore gender roles. You know what I'm saying? Because essentially, like if it's almost like say people get into a marriage or whatever, and women feel like the man's supposed to be the breadwinner or make more money, and he doesn't, or whatever circumstance happened, and the man happens to not be working. You know what I'm saying? And the woman is working and taking care of the bills and different stuff, like basically holding him down while he getting back on his feet, yada yada yada. I think that there's a lot of situations where women will take that and then like what is it called? Demasculate. Is it called emasculate? What is it? You say?
Emasculate.
Emasculate. Yeah, sorry. So what they'll take that and like emasculate men. You know what I'm saying? In a sense. Where it's like because you're not living up to this standard and you're not doing the things that society says a man is supposed to do, then no, you can't run nothing over here. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't be the head of the household. So I think that as a man, it's still understanding that like, okay, like there's no like in our house, there's no gender roles in our house. You know what I'm saying? Something need done, you just do what you need to do. You know what I mean? But there's also that respect where it's like, okay, that doesn't make my husband a punk, or that doesn't make him less of a man. You know, I mean, I'm just saying, like these different ways, that different perspectives where I mean, I'm pretty sure there's some women out here that look at they men like, you know, you ain't doing what I think a man should do based off of societal gender roles. And it's like, when it come time to being the head of the household, well, you ain't got no say so, or you know what I'm saying, you can't really say anything. Like you ain't paying no bills, you can't say nothing. It's like, wait, hold on, slow down. So it really takes a different type of strength and respect, I think, on both parties.
What about specifically the man as the stay-at-home role?
What do you mean?
Like, how do you see that? Like, so do you think, because I've heard a lot of different commentary surrounding, you know, men being the stay-at-home man, even movies that
that new Kevin Hart movie.
Yeah, like even stuff like that. Like it's a degrading spin put on it.
Right.
So I mean, where do you see that? Like, how do you see that? Do you think it's something that can be done respectfully on both parts, or okay? I mean, I guess if we think of it in biblical terms, like, is that a biblical thing that it has to be the man as the breadwinner? Like, where's your thought process on that?
I don't think it is. I think that I don't think that has anything to do with the man being the head. You know what I'm saying? Like I think that the man being the head is biblical, not in the sense of like financially. You know what I'm saying? It's just like you had talked about before, and you said like God gives a man vision and stuff like that, where it's like, okay, I mean, man was created first. And it's like, okay, it's your job to lead your family. You know what I'm saying? It's your job to make sure that you're doing everything you can to put your family in the best position possible and not lead them down the wrong path and stuff like that. I think the financial part is just something that society then worked in there to make men feel like, look, if I ain't making, like, I mean, I've literally in 2022, 2021 seen people say I can't be with no woman if she make more than me. And it's like, why? You know what I'm saying? And their response, it just make me feel like less of a man. So it's like, to me, it's over time society and just like basically built up the correlation between your financial status and being a man, especially when you compare it to the person you're dating or who you're with. You know what I'm saying? Where it's like that, like I seen somebody made a post and they were like, they went on a date, and you know, after the date, they were talking to the young lady, and the young lady said, you know, I was prepared to pay for my half. And they said their thought process was like, what made you look at me and feel like or think that I couldn't pay for this date? You know what I'm saying? And it's like, somebody like, we going out and you tell me that, I'm like, props to you.
But you know, I don't like, I see that specific as different for a married couple, because I mean we paying off the same pot,
right, for sure.
But I mean, you know, I don't like so the picture I found was the man holding the baby, pushing the vacuum cleaner, and the wife running out with the briefcase and whatnot, going to work. Like I don't personally think seeing a man as a stay at home, you know, figure. Like I don't think anything is wrong with that. Like I mean, I think it just kind of boils down to whatever works for your family.
Right.
But I also agree that it has to be we still parenting.
Yeah.
But I also think I also think that it does have to come with maturity to do that. Like I had read this thing, I don't know if that was earlier today or whatever, but it was this thing that said the number one reason for divorce is unmet expectation.
I agree. Yeah.
Right. That's what I was thinking. I was like, yeah, that's actually probably true. And so it just made me think of it again when having this conversation. Like, okay, what is the expectation in your household, especially when you think of concerning, you know, a lot of people really put a lot of stock into gender roles.
Right.
So, you know, if my expectation is that, you know, even if I do work, but my expectation is that you're the breadwinner, you pay for everything, but then maybe, you know, feasibly that's just not the case.
Right.
You know, are we getting a divorce then? Because now my expectation of what you should have maintained. Like I used to always say that it's the same for me when I think of, you know, women literally live their little girl self with the expectation of what their marriage is going to look like. I'm gonna have this big of a house, I'm gonna have this many kids, my husband's going to be a doctor, and blah 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 blah. And that's what you grow up expecting.
Right.
Is this is what it's going to be. But then maybe you know, get married to a guy who's fine and I'm okay being a registered nurse. And there's never the expectation on my part that I wanted to be a doctor.
Right.
But for the woman, she's looking at it, okay, well, he's a nurse, but when we get married, you know, this is going to happen, and then he's going to be this doctor, because for so many years, my vision of what my marriage should be, what my life should be at this point in time is I'm married to a doctor. And so now what does it look like when, you know, no, my expectation is I never wanted to be a doctor, but I do want to be a registered nurse.
Right.
Is her how does that look, when it comes to what my expectation is for my life, but you're happy and I'm not, because now I got unmet expectation, because I always imagine myself being married to a doctor,
Right.
and maybe for that woman now it's like, oh, you're less than, because you're not meeting the expectation that I had, or I don't see you as the man of the household, because why would you want to stop at just being a registered nurse when you
Right.
could go on to be a doctor? So
I think, I think a big issue is people's ability to adapt to life. Like you said, you living with expectations from when you was a kid, or even as you grow, and you don't know how to. If it isn't that, it's basically dealing with adversity. You know what I'm saying? It's not technically adversity. You know what I'm saying? Like if your life is going okay, but it's adversity in the sense of this wasn't my expectation.
mhm.
You know what I'm saying? So I think it's huge for, especially when you talk about like a stay at home dad. It's huge. Like to me, him still feeling like or being the head of the household, like biblically, yeah, he is. You know what I'm saying? In his mind, he still may be. But to me, like the main thing is how that woman treats him. You know what I'm saying? And how
Mhm.
she views it. Like if she views it as the breadwinner is the head of the household. Like if that's how she's been raised and that's what she's believed her whole life. If she believes that, then it's going to be an issue for him. You know what I'm saying? But if she's grounded and she understands, like biblically, and she understands that okay, the man is still the head of the household, no matter what life done threw at y'all, no matter he working, he a stay at home dad, whatever the case, then okay, I think his mental will be okay. If not, he gonna struggle. He gonna have mind battles. He gonna feel like less of a man. He gonna feel like, why am I in this, or whatever the case. So
So do you think there's points in marriage where, trying to think of the best way to put it, like, do you think there's a point in marriage where you have to revisit the conversation?
um I think there can be, like you said, like we said, if your expectations are like steadfast, like if you're, this is what I'm expecting and I'm not accepting any less than this, in terms of your career, in terms of finding how much money you make, you know what I'm saying, like different stuff like that. I think those things are the things that we're like, okay, we got to have a discussion. You know what I'm saying? Like when we're talking about cutting the grass, doing the laundry, doing the shopping, stuff like, I think those are like minute things, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
If you getting divorced because you think your wife should be doing the shopping and you be doing it, you can't have that conversation. Maybe y'all wasn't meant to be married anyway. You know what I'm saying? Like those things I think are smaller. I think when you get to like the gender role expectations, when you're talking about man, a man being a breadwinner and stuff like that, I definitely think those can be conversations that have to be revisited, because those more often than not are the ones that end with divorce and somebody, one party or the other, looking like, what happened. You know what I'm saying? Like I mean, like you said, like those expectations, a guy could be, and it's not just a guy, but a guy could be sitting there like, I make decent money, I work hard, I try to wine and dine her, I try to, you know what I'm saying, respect her and do everything I'm supposed to do. I feel like I'm supposed to do. Haven't heard of any issues and stuff like that, anything out the norm. And then just lo and behold, like, yeah, I don't want to be in this.
From the woman?
Maybe. And it could be vice versa. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then you have that conversation, and then it's, well, I thought you was gonna be, like you said, you a nurse. I thought you was gonna go back to medical school. Like, you know what I'm saying? Just even that type of thing, going back to school. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, we get married, and I tell you, all right, I just graduated college, but I'm gonna go back to med school. And you sitting there and your whole life you've been, oh well, I was gonna marry a doctor and he'll be a doctor in 7 years or 3 more years or 4 more years. Then you don't do it, or I don't do it. You know what I'm saying? And then like, okay, where does that leave you? You know what I'm saying? Like, are you able to adjust and adapt your expectation?
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Is your happiness gonna be based off of, well, you ain't become no doctor and make all this money like you said?
Maybe that's one of the, maybe that's a topic we can like further discuss one of these days. Like, and I don't know. I guess I feel like we may have kind of lightly discussed that. Like, what is your expectation in marriage? I guess did we talk about that before?
Um,
Maybe.
maybe.
I don't know, because I feel something like when we bring it back to like gender roles, I think a lot of that has to do with what your expectation is in your marriage.
Yeah.
Um,
I think we did talk about expectations or what we didn't expect.
yeah, that's
We
what
talked
it
about, I
was.
think, what we didn't expect. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, but I mean, I can fully see how that ends up being the number one reason why people get divorced is because of the expectation. Like, you know, if you had an expectation that okay, Tia, oh yeah, I understand. You know, in our family, we both got to work full-time jobs, but at the end of the day, it's her responsibility to come home, to cook, to clean, you know,
Right,
to
right,
do all of these type of
right.
things. And then I'm like polar opposite and don't have the expectation that I have to do any of that because we both live here,
Mm-hmm.
you know, then, you know, as far as you concerned, then the expectation that you have for who your wife would be isn't being met.
Right.
Because I'm not following, you know, the gender roles that you thought was supposed to be a part of our marriage. So, but yeah, so good conversation. So I've always said, you know, we don't have to go the full hour, and tonight is one of those nights where I'm going to say we don't have to go the full hour because I'm tired. At the end of the day, that's the whole problem. I have been up for over 24 hours, and I am dwindling as we speak. And so we are going to sign off a little bit early tonight. You got any final thoughts?
Just do what works for you. Have a conversation if you need to have a conversation. If you're a person that believes in strict gender roles or stuff like that, just had a conversation. It'll go a long way in a happy home or
Yeah,
happier home.
but what if you? What if even after having that conversation, it don't change nothing? Like I still feel like the man should be doing this.
I mean, if you have a conversation and y'all can't meet in the middle, then there's some reevaluating that needs to go on.
So what if we already married though?
If we have a conversation and y'all can't meet in the middle,
Yeah, but I mean, is that really a reason to get a divorce?
I just said some reevaluation. I mean, I don't necessarily think divorced, but y'all need to figure some stuff out.
Okay.
I mean, I'm just saying.
No, I mean, I'm just thinking like
Because again, I mean, I don't think like, well, he won't take out the trash is a reason for divorce. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, like, is that going to be the only issue?
is those your deal breakers? He's not taking out the trash.
Yeah, I mean, it's Tuesday night. Do you know who's taking out your trash?
Like, why is that even a
I
thing?
don't know, but I'm just saying, like, but I mean, I would just say had that conversation. I mean, even and I mean, at some point, if again, if the respect level is there, if the want to is there, then I mean, some stuff gonna change, even if it ain't perfect. Y'all still figure out a way to meet in the middle. I mean, or
So,
something.
like, what would be your advice? Like, say a guy came to you and was like, "Man, I'm struggling right now. My wife don't cook."
Do
What?
you cook?
No, yeah, that's good. That's a good comeback, actually.
I was just asking, do you cook?
Yeah, because you know the reason I asked that and I specifically put it at marriage is because I was I don't know who it was that I was talking to. Um, that might have been you. Was it might have been you when we was talking about no, maybe I was at work. I don't remember, but in any case, we was talking about how women raise their sons. Like, are they teaching their sons to be basically like dependent on like a woman, like dependent on a woman with the whoever they with, the woman got to be the one to cook and all this other type of stuff, or you know, are we raising our sons to at least where was we? I think that was you.
Mhm.
At least he ain't gonna starve because he'll know at least the
Something.
basics of how I think that was you. I don't even remember why I was saying all that, but in any case, um, I guess my last and final thoughts about this conversation is I think all of us have some type of idea of what we think a man should do and some idea of what we think a woman should do. Um, However, I don't think you should allow that thought process to define your relationship. Because I think if you let it define your relationship, then I do think that's how your relationship ends up souring
Right.
because you know, you ain't meet my expectation. You
Right.
know, man, you supposed to be taking out the garbage and doing all this stuff, and I find myself doing that. Um, you know, I be having those little thoughts, but I don't think it define our household is so polar opposite than what gender roles is concerned. So, I mean, I just think you don't need to let that type of stuff define your relationship because that's how you lose your relationship.
Right.
And then if you marry, you know, again, don't let that define your marriage or your household. I think you literally should do what works best for your household. You drop the kids off, I pick the kids up, you know, whatever works to make it flow. Like how does your household flow that works for y'all as a couple? And then, you know, don't sit and compare yourself to everybody else either.
Right.
You know, I know a lot of people who do a whole bunch of things, and I be thinking like, oh, okay, well, that works for them, but not me. You know, and I'm okay with that. Like, I think both parties got to be okay with this is what works for us, even if it don't look like the norm that society wants it to look like. Like, as
Right.
long as y'all okay with it, then you're good to go. You know,
Do what works for you.
and keep it moving,
Y'all do what works for y'all.
and keep it moving.
So
So,
we promised we was about to get off, so
We
we're
did.
gonna get off and not be long winded.
yeah.
We appreciate y'all for tuning in. Appreciate the comments, even though y'all be trying to take T aside, but cool. You need
My bad. That was an accident. I wasn't trying to do that. So we will be back next week. With next week we doing the marriage one, ain't we?
I thought all of them was marriage ones.
I mean specifically because it's our anniversary month. Our
Yeah.
anniversary is Monday. So then I think Wednesday shows we're gonna talk about. I don't remember what we're supposed to talk about, but it's gonna be something marriagey concerning our marriage.
Marriagey.
Is that a word?
Nope.
So we're going to talk about something marriagey concerning our marriage because 13 years hits us Monday on the 19th. So we're going to have a conversation around why we've been married so long. No, I'm just playing. So y'all have a good night. We will be back next week at 9 o'clock
Peace out.
like normal. So y'all have a good night.